charms! Yep, that's right. They seem to be very popular nowadays, and so I have decided to create one just for you. And especially for you crochet beginners, it can be made so quick and easy too. That means that you lovely market people who need something quick to sell, this one is for you as well. And at this point, you're probably wondering, what the heck are you talking about? Well, let me show you. Woo! Here it is. It's a cute sunflower keychain, and the best part of this, you're probably asking, is that you do get the free pattern. So go ahead and grab your free copy in the description box down below, and without further ado, let's get yarning. Hello everyone, and welcome to Amparo Wonderland. I don't even want to talk anymore, so let's jump right into our materials list. Let's pop that list right up here, and let's get started. The first material that we need is, of course, our crochet hook, and we're using a 3.75mm hook. We need a darning needle. We need some of our best friends here, our stitch markers. And we need a key ring. Does not matter which kind. You can use the lobster claw or an actual ring. For this purposes, we are using a claw. And of course, we need our scissors. And last but not least, we need our brown yarn color and our yellow color. For our brown yarn, we are using the color Cinnamon from I Love This Yarn. And for the yellow color, we are using color Yellow from Premier Just Yarn, which both are worsted acrylic yarn. So now that we've got our material list all set, let's move our things out of the way so we can have some clear space to start creating magic. To create this keychain, we are going to be working in the rounds. So let's go ahead and put that round counter up there. And we're going to start with our brown color. And to start, we need to create a magic ring. If you do not know how to make a magic ring, do not worry. I do have a quick, easy, short tutorial right up there on the card that shows you how to create a magic ring. It is very easy, so do not fret. You will definitely get it. Now, since you have created your magic ring, if you're still here, what you're going to do is that we're going to be working into the center of that magic ring. So go ahead and put your hook right in the middle, and we're going to do a single crochet. But instead of doing a yarn over, we're going to do a yarn under. So yarn under, pull up your loop, and we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. So it's a yarn under, yarn over technique that we're using for this keychain. For you beginners, make sure you mark up that first stitch at every round because you do not want to lose track of where you are, because when you're working in rounds, you can very easily lose your spot or your count, and then you will have to start all over and you do not want to frog your piece. Now, we have made our first single crochet, so go ahead and create a second one. Go right into that magic ring. Remember, yarn under, you pull up your loop, and you're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. And you're going to do that 6 times. So yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay, so go ahead and create your 6 stitches, your 6 single crochets, and I'll see you there. Alright, so now that we have our 6 single crochets here, what we're going to do is that we're going to close the ring. Right now it's open. And to close your ring, what you're going to do is, you see this long one? This is your working yarn. It's the one that's attached to your yarn ball or your yarn cake or yarn skein, whatever you want to call it. This is what you're working with, so your working yarn. You want to leave that one alone. Do not touch it. I know I've been talking about it, but do not touch it. We're going to work with this little one here. Yours may be a little longer depending on how you created your magic ring. But that's the one you're going to pull. We're going to pull that one. Hold on to the rest of your magic ring here, your stitches, and just pull. Pull, pull, pull all the way. And what that's doing is that is literally closing your ring. So now there is no center spot in there. As you can see, the magic ring has been closed. Okay, so just make sure you be careful when you're pulling it. You can pull it tight, just make sure it doesn't snap. Alright, so we are done with round 1. So let's go ahead and put round 2 up there. And round 2, what we are going to do is that we are going to do increases into each single stitch of this first round. So the first round we have 6 single crochets in total. So for the second one, we're going to have 12. So go ahead and remove that stitch marker so it is out of the way. And an increase, for those of you who don't know, an increase is when you do 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. So let's go ahead and create that. Go into that first stitch where you had your stitch marker, if you can. And we're going to continue doing the yarn under, yarn over technique. So yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. Now don't forget, you want to mark up your first stitch so that way you do not lose your spot when you get back to the end. So we got 1 single crochet in that first stitch, and we want to create another one. So go into that same exact stitch you were just in, and you're going to yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. And now you've got 2 single crochets in that same stitch. So you have just created an increase. Good! Now you know what an increase is. And now we can move on to the next stitch. Like I said, each stitch is going to have an increase. So in total, you should have 12 single crochets or 12 stitches for round 2. So let's go ahead into the next stitch right here. I'm going to show you again. So in that stitch, you go in, you yarn under, you pull up your loop, you yarn over, and pull through both loops. Okay, you do that again because we're doing an increase into that same stitch that you literally just worked into. Put your hook in there, you yarn under, you pull up your loop, you yarn over, and pull through both loops. And you just made another increase. Ta-da-da! It's that easy. Okay, so keep going all the way around until you get to your last stitch. This is your first stitch of the round, and this is your last stitch from the other round, okay? So go ahead all the way to the end and create your increases in each stitch. And don't forget, if you get lost, do not worry, just count your stitches and you should have 12 stitches for this round. Perfect! Okay, so we've got 12 stitches, so 12 single crochets in total, meaning 6 increases. So now that we finished round 2, we're going to round 3. So let's go ahead and put that round counter up there. And for round 3, what we're going to do is that we're going to follow a similar pattern. But what we're going to do is first, we're going to do 1 single crochet, just 1, into that next stitch. Same way you've been doing it. So yarn under and yarn over. Don't forget to mark up your stitch. Do not forget. I am telling you, you do not want to forget. I promise you. Okay, so now that we did that, what we're going to do is the next stitch here is that we're going to create an increase, just like we did on round 2. So go and put your hook right in there. You yarn under, pull up your loop, and then you yarn over and pull through both loops. And do that again. So you go into that same stitch, yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. So you just made an increase, meaning 2 single crochets into that 1 stitch. So you should have 3 stitches right now. Okay? So let's do that again. What we're going to do is 1 single crochet into the next stitch, just 1. And then the next one, we do an increase. So put your hook in there, yarn under and yarn over. Go again into that same stitch, yarn under, yarn over, and pull through 2. And you should have 6 stitches now. Okay, so you repeated that pattern 2 times now. So the pattern is create 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then in the second stitch you create an increase. Okay, so let me show you one more time. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, just 1, and then in the next stitch here we create an increase. Go into the same stitch, create your single crochet, and you made it. Okay, so keep going all the way around until you get to the end of your round, and at the end of the round you should have 18 stitches. Okay, so I'll see you at the end. Okay, so we have ended round 3 here. I want to make sure that you did end your round 3 with an increase and that you have 18 stitches. So make sure you go ahead and count your stitches and that you ended in that increase. And this is actually the end of this one, so we're gonna fasten off, but before we fasten off, we're gonna go into the next stitch and we're gonna do a slip stitch right in there. You can remove your stitch marker wherever you have it, and we're going to cut this off. You do not have to make it that long, just long enough that you can weave it in and just literally just pull it off. Do not worry, it is safe after you do that slip stitch. Okay, so we have finished the first center part. We're going to go ahead and create a second one. So you can look at that pattern that you have, that if you haven't gotten it yet, you can click it down below in the description box, or you can just rewind the video and follow along as we create the center part. Okay, so go ahead and create your second one, and I have made one, so let's click this in. Okay, there we go. We got our 2 circles now. So what we're going to do is that we're going to turn our circles like this on the back side, and we're going to weave in the center pieces here. So go ahead and thread your yarn piece into your darning needle. And we're going to weave it right into the center part of that magic ring, so that way we can make sure that the magic ring does stay closed. So go right in there and you just go around the center stitches there. It may be a little difficult because it's tight, but that's okay. We're just going to keep going until you are satisfied with the threading. Okay, so I've got my ends weaved in there. And I'm going to keep my little scraps around because I am going to use this as a filler type of thing for the center part. That has a little puff to it. Now let's go ahead and grab our yellow yarn, or whatever color yarn you decide to use for your petals. What we're going to do is that we're going to place our center pieces together, and we're going to do the back parts placed together. And it does not matter where you place them, you just want to make sure that each stitch goes along with the other stitch of the other side of the circle. Okay? Because we are going to actually connect our circles together while we create the petals. So as you can see, it's going to look something like this, where you go through both circles. Alright? So do this. So go ahead and do this. Put your hook into one of the stitches, does not matter which one. Grab your yellow yarn and you're going to hook it right onto that hook of yours. And we're going to pull the yarn right through those stitches of both sides. And we're going to create a chain 1. Just to solidify this and just tighten it a little bit there. Okay, so we've got our chain 1 here. And what we're going to do is that we're going to work into the next stitch. But before we go in there, we're going to yarn over, and we're going to put our hook in there now into the next stitch, and make sure you go through the back circle as well. That's why I said that the circles should align perfectly with each stitch, especially if you created the same count of stitches. That's why it's good to count. I'm going to weave in my yellow while I work with my petals, so if you want to do that as well, you can do this, so that way you don't have to weave it in at the end. So grab your end here and put it over your hook. Grab your working yarn. I'm sorry if it's a little confusing. Grab your working yarn, you're going to yarn over and pull through. Now go ahead and do a regular double crochet. So yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so you got your first stitch in that one stitch there. And we're going to do a triple crochet into that same stitch. Okay, so yarn over twice, go into that same stitch, both front and back. Keep your yarn that you're trying to weave in there on top. We're going to yarn over and pull up that loop. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. Now, I want you to keep mind of where that triple crochet is, where that triple stitch is. If you're a beginner and you think you will forget, you can go ahead and mark it up at the top there, and I'll show you how that would work. So it's going to go through the 2 loops here at the top there. Okay, that's your stitch. Okay, so now go ahead and chain 2. And now we're going to do a slip stitch into the top of that triple crochet. Okay, so remove the stitch marker if it will be easier for you, or leave it in there, whatever is easiest for you. But you're going to work into that triple stitch right through there. So both loops go on top of your hook there. Okay, and you're going to yarn over and slip through those 2 loops and the back loop, because we're doing a slip stitch. So that creates your little point of the petal. Go ahead and do another triple crochet. So yarn over twice and go into that same stitch. We're working in the same exact stitch. You yarn over and pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm sorry, my English is like, I can't even talk today for some reason. Alright, now we're going to do a double crochet. So yarn over and go through the same stitch. Again, same exact stitch. So a double crochet, so yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Now we're going to go into the next stitch. Okay, so go ahead and go into that stitch. Do not yarn over or anything. Just go right into the stitch, both front and back circles. You want to carry that piece in, so that way you weave it in as you're working. And you're going to yarn over and pull up that loop and just do a regular slip stitch. So take that loop and put it through that back loop that is on your hook already. And you have created your first petal here. Okay, there it is, super cute. And we're going to do that again. So go ahead into the next stitch. We're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. So go through both circles, front and back. Continue to weave in your piece if you're following along with that. You're going to yarn over, pull up your loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now do a triple. So yarn over twice, into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2. Now, again, keep in mind of where that triple crochet is right there. Okay, so I'm going to show you with my hook, just in case. So you see this working yarn, the loop is right in there because you have just finished your triple crochet. And that's exactly where you are going to do your slip stitch, through both loops there. Okay, so like I said, keep in mind of that triple crochet of where it is. That's where you will do your slip stitch. So chain 2, go at the top of that triple, okay, and do a regular slip stitch, just like that. Okay, you got your point there. Do another triple in the same stitch, a regular triple crochet, a triple crochet stitch, okay, and then do a double crochet, just like so, and then finalize that petal with a slip stitch into the next stitch. Yarn over and pull up your loop, and then go through that loop there. Okay, and you got 2 petals. Okay, so let's go ahead and create another petal. Okay, so if you've noticed, I am at the slip stitch part of my circle, and I am going to use that as a stitch. So first I'm going to yarn over, since we are going to do a double crochet into the first stitch. So go into that slip stitch if you're doing a slip stitch, and go into the back stitch as well. I'm going to carry my piece over here, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. Now, these pieces that we did not weave in, you want to use it kind of as a filler. So go ahead and pull it over here on this side, so that way it stays out of the way and you don't have to worry about it until later on. So continue to create your petals, and when you get to the 7th petal, I want you to come back because I want to make sure that everything is good and that you're doing well, because depending on where you place your slip stitches and your ends, it depends on what you're going to do. So I did show you that when I got to the slip stitch, I pulled my piece down here. So I want you to do the same. When you get to your slip stitch, pull it into the circle so that way you can use it as a filler. So go ahead and create 7 petals and come back so that way I can show you what you're going to do. Alright, so I've made my 7th petal here, and I'm going to show you what you're going to do. So, you know those pieces that you cut off when you were weaving in that first piece from the magic ring? We're going to use that as a filler. If you have actual polyfill, go ahead and fill this up as much as you'd like. I don't like to fill it too much because then it'll look funky. So I think it is a perfect amount of using the threads that you have already attached to it. So as you saw, I just put in the other one, and this is the other piece. I haven't stitched into it yet, but I am going to put it in there as well, just so you can see how it looks, just in case you have already stitched up your piece in there. So I'll just stuff it right into the center, and this is just a perfect amount to give it that little puff for the center of your sunflower. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and continue to create my petals, and at the end you should have 9 petals. So go ahead and create your last 2 petals, and then I will show you how we are going to attach the keyring to it. Alright, I'll see you there. And I am just finishing up my last petal here. As you can see, you go into the first stitch that you worked into for your first petal. You're just going to work into that stitch to create your slip stitch. And then we're going to fasten off, but don't fasten off too short because we are going to use this piece of yarn to attach your keyring. So give it a good length there and snip it off and go ahead and pull that up just like so, and you are done with your sunflower. Oh, it's so adorable, but we're not done yet. You can fix the petals as you go, and let's go ahead and move over to attaching our keyring. So go ahead and grab your darning needle and thread that yarn into the needle. We're going to grab the end of our keyring here, and we're literally just gonna put it through that first circle or the last circle and just go all the way to the end. Now I'm gonna go right in here so that way it goes around into that petal, just like that, to kind of just attach it really well in there. Okay, and now that we have our thread in the back, what we're going to do is that we're going to thread our needle right through here in the back to attach it even better, just like that. And then I'm going to thread back to the front, just like so, and just like that. Now we're going to thread into the circle again, your circle, the bottom circle. Just thread through there, and that's just securing. What we're doing is just securing that keyring so that way it doesn't come loose. Okay, so you're gonna keep repeating that. So go back to the front like this, and again into the bottom hoop there, right in there. You're just going back and forth to secure it really well. The petals like to get in the way though. Okay, and you can go as many times as you want, as many times as you think that you need. I'm going to go back into the circle in here. Like I said, we're just attaching the keyring and making sure that it is secure. So you can do what I'm doing, you can do your own thing, whatever you think will create a tighter grip and keep your keyring in check. Just like that. I'm going to go back into the center one more time and back to the front one more time. And then one more time into the circle, because I really want to make sure that it's secure. And now to really solidify that ring, you're gonna want to make a knot. So go into the edge here, wherever you can. We're gonna make a knot. So do not close it all the way, and go into the center of that, and then you can tighten it, and that creates a knot. So go into that same space as close as you can, and do the same thing. So create that loop, and then put the needle through the loop without dropping the needle like I just did. And you can do that a third time if you wish. If you feel more comfortable doing a third time, you can, or a fourth time, however. And then just cut the excess of it as close to the base as you can. And that ends our sunflower. Our keychain is all set. Da, 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 da. There you go. So you can just fix the leaves. You know, just kind of like iron it down with your hands. Or if you want to steam it, you can steam it too. You can even make this keyring a little longer if you prefer as well. Just add more rings to your keyring. And that's it. That is all. Yay! And that ends our video tutorial for this cute sunflower keychain. And the great thing about this pattern is that you can literally customize it and create your own colors. Just like this keychain that I made as well, that the front is brown, but the back of it is orange. So you can have a lot of fun with this pattern. Create your own. Let me know. Tag me on Instagram. I definitely want to see your creations with this pattern. If you like this pattern, definitely give this a thumbs up. And also, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. And without further ado, I will see you all in the next one. But before I leave you, if you did like this pattern, you are definitely going to love this video over here, which also has a great free pattern for you. So I'll see you all there. And until next time, bye everyone. Thank you.